Oh, men, go your own way, go your own way. All your Simpsons are forgiven. Happy Sunday. Happy Independence Day, man. Let's see if we can actually hear my sound. Oh, your Simpsons are forgiven. There we go. We got good sound. We got everything going on. It's Independence Day. People are happy out there barbecuing, blowing off fireworks, and it's a good day. Today we're going to talk a little bit about hypocrisy, and we kind of breached on this subject last about immaturity and female the PPAS and all that stuff. And so Joey wanted to talk about it a little more in depth. And Soul Savant, one of our viewers, wrote a comment, and he wanted to go over the comment. And so that's what we'll do today. He says women get the luxury of being treated like children throughout their entirety of their existence. In fact, they enjoy being treated like a child. They live much like Peter Pan in a suspended state of adolescence. That's ironic that men who choose to do their own thing, that's mgtows, and forego marriage, family, are mocked and ridiculed for being immature. You have to love the inherent hypocrisy of the world. And X from Sosama. Yeah, there is a hypocrisy in the world, and usually it starts with marriage. And we get told, we see the 30-year-old virgin. We see the movies like Matthew McConaughey was in, and with what was that one called? I can't remember it now. It's a flyby now, but where he's homebound, living 35 years old, living with his parents, and they hire a woman to try to be his girlfriend to get him to move out and stuff like that. That's the way men are portrayed as being cowards or worthless or useless if they don't involve themselves in taking care of the female that's actually treated like a child herself. And we see this with Trevor Bauer, and even though she put up a flirtatious and sexually oriented solicitation in the paper, and then he answered it, he's still the one that has to take responsibility. He's still the one that did something wrong. We see this in marriage. We see this in life. We see this everywhere, where they act like 14-year-old little children, and they never seem to mature. And we see it at the end of marriages too. Most of them just want to leave the marriage for vanity reasons, or and just for dick. But I would always say it's about dick, always about dick with them. And we have systems that go along with it. And I had a comment today too about Jesus was a mgtow. No, Jesus was the farthest thing from a mgtow. If you ever read the Wedding of Cana, he had where he was invited, and St. Thomas of Aquinas's ideas about what that was all about, and it really didn't get any notoriety till post 1120 or to 1427, when coincidentally the painting The Wedding of Cana came out, and all of a sudden everybody knew of this new and they put it in the Bible. So yeah, but religion hinges on marriage, and it hinges on the social control of men. That's what we have. And most of it you'll find is hypocrisy, because you're under the thumb of a 14-year-old and they never mature. What do you think about that, Joey?
Yeah, I think that's spot on. Correct. I mean, not that women can't be intelligent. There's a lot of intelligent women, but the maturity thing is definitely not there with them after 14.
Yeah.
See it in all of them.
Yeah, they don't mature after that. So scientifically proven. And from 14 to 80, they still all act ridiculous sometimes. And but it's the decision-making process that gets them in trouble. We've seen, like this week with Kamala Harris, she's the vice president of the United States, but she can't keep the drama out of it. I seen it with Alyssa Myers at Yahoo, with the lady from Theranos, where they were given everything and all the resources to succeed, and they couldn't keep the ridiculousness out of it. So yeah, that's the topic today. Plus whatever else you want to talk about, Hoka riding a unicorn, and
Yeah, happy Hoka Independence Day. This is
happy
the day.
Hoka Independence Day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He still hasn't done his miracle trick. He always comes up with something, but I think he's just keeping everyone on their heels and suspense for what he's going to do this year. Because walking on water just doesn't cut it anymore, you know?
Yeah, that's no big deal. Lots of people walk on water.
Yeah, so he jumped the Grand Canyon 2 weeks ago. So yeah, we'll see. I'm waiting for something. So, but yeah, I like that comment by Soul Savant, whoever he is. Hopefully he can come on the show someday. Talk a little bit about it. Yeah, so it's just a really good comment, and makes a lot of sense to me when I read it.
Yeah, what were we talking about when we were talking about it in that stream where the idea, well, men, if they don't marry, then they get called immature. But the whole idea of marriage is to take care of this immature creature that can't take care of herself. And that's inherent hypocrisy. But you just want to live your own life and do your own thing, and that stuff, and you get called immature for not taking aboard another dependent.
Yeah.
And Hollywood's built around it, and our system seems to be built around it, because the system doesn't want to take care of what we give them taxes to take care of it. They don't want to actually take care of what we pay them to take care of.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they throw it back, and it's the same old hypocrisy. They throw it back on the men. It's like, you men, you're all bad. No, we pay our altruism taxes, and we expect these things to be taken care of, and then they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a shame, because and then like they resort to calling us crazy or something like that. Like, oh, look,
right, yeah, you're crazy. You know what that's like when you.
Yeah, we can see through their bullshit and make the adjustment and what's the best quality of life for us. And
Yeah, if you come out as a mgtow, and that's what it is, you have to come out as a mgtow and say around your families and friends, and pretty much present yourself as, I don't do those things no more, because there's a lot of risk involved with them. Then you get called like, oh, that's crazy. It's like, what's so crazy about it? Can you think of one thing that's actually crazy about it?
No.
Besides the other sex or the other gender is not getting something from you anymore. There's nothing crazy about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I forget who mentioned it. I think it was Black Wolf, about they're just women just gathering resources, like through marriage. Like it all goes to the wife's what do you call it, legacy, or whatever you want to call it, right? Like a marriage. So
right.
Married guy's like losing all his resources to that female. Like it's all the resources go to her side of the family.
Right. Yeah. We've seen it over and over again, and even at most women outlive men at Social Security, they get half of his. And plus
that's why you see a lot of these the upper, the rich elite class, where you want to call it, Kennedy, married in Onassis. They're like they're considered like the type of elite families, right? So they like kind of intermarry, to protect their wealth.
Yeah, there's
interesting stuff.
The registry. They're on the
right.
You're not. You're not on the registry. I can guarantee you.
That's what they do. They kind of. That's the way they've protected their wealth over generation.
Generation. I don't know how the registry works anymore. It's a kind of a paper registry that they used to have, but
yeah.
It's probably more digital and more ideological, whether you're in or out, and everybody kind of knows whether you're in or out. There's a bar you have to, as soon as you rise up over that bar, you could be in, and it's old money. And, You know, you can't be nouveau riche.
Well, and then it can be frustrating because there's no meritocracy. So, sometimes it's hard to get motivated when you realize what's happening. I mean, especially like, I always talk about work for corporation, but you're just a slave. You work for corporation, you're just a slave. The only way you get out of it really is starting your own business. I think that's the only way.
Right. Yeah.
Or you can just entirely drop out and just try to grind your way through life through odds and end jobs, which is fine, as long as you're surviving. I guess it's okay to play it that way. But you work for a corporation, you're just a slave to them pretty much, because they're not doing any work. They're making money on interest and
they're not going to. They're not going to. It's not like the 70s and 80s and even the 90s where corporations.
What's it called? Horatio Alger? What's his name? That's a bullshit story. That's all bullshit.
Horatio
Alger, whatever. Like, he worked his way from an immigrant, and he worked that's just a bullshit story. Horatio Alger story.
That's what I'll call the exception to the rule. There's always an exception to the rule, like a Harry Rock. Harry Rock was the exception to the rule, where he started out post-war as a young man picking up cans, and then he bought a bicycle. Then he bought a basket for the bicycle and a pedal bike, and then he bought a motorized truck to pick up the cans and the scrap and everything. Then he bought big trucks, and then he had a fleet of trucks, and he became a billionaire with a fleet of trucks, delivering or taking scrap away from scrap yards and to steel mills. And he had an idea: you could get them to the steel mills, and you could remelt the metal. But that's an exception to the rule, and that's an exceptional person. I bring him up all the time because, and what was the other guy's?
Horatio Alger or something?
Horatio Alger. Yeah, there are exceptions to the rule in making it in America. We always hear the exception to the rule. Bill Clinton was one of the exceptions to the rule, even though his lineage and his heritage, he could have been on the registry, just because he was a descendant of Billy Bly, the pirate, the privateer. So he's old money, but he was born poor, and Hillary's family really, they weren't very rich or anything. But he made it. He's the exception to the rule. He's not the rule. Everybody doesn't make it, and that's one in it must be one in 120 million that at least get close to that kind of wealth in America. As we say, there's 240 adult Americans, the rest are children and Utes. And
my cousin Vinny.
Yeah, Utes, the Utes. And the Chillins, the rest are Chillins and Utes.
Yeah, that's a good movie. That's actually a great movie, because I never watch like the same movie. Like, I hardly watch the same movie twice, but
yeah,
that movie you can watch it like once a year and still like.
Did you watch it? Yeah, there's a few movies.
One of the best comedies ever, I would say.
Yeah. We were talking about that other day. There's only a few movies that I can watch over and over again without having a totally different perspective on from the first time I seen it. Now that I've become mgtow, one of them is The Day After Tomorrow. It's something about that movie just doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
And
she was a mechanic, right? Like Marissa Tomei, wasn't she like a mechanic or something?
Oh yeah, the Footloose movie. What was that? The dancing welder girl. That was
I don't know. Queen Latifah, Equalizer. I don't know.
Yeah, no, not the Equalizer. She's just badass.
Yeah, she's the welder. I don't remember that one. I know she was. I thought she played a mechanic or something.
Oh, the mechanic. Yeah, Queen Latifah played a mechanic.
No. I'm talking about Marissa Tomei and my cousin Vinny.
Yeah, Marissa Tomei or something like that. Yeah, they take the male-oriented. they take the and they talk about cultural appropriation. A gender, what I would call gender appropriation. Isn't the idea of gender appropriation the same thing when you take like Superman and you have to make a Superwoman? Or you take like Batman and it has to be that's culture, that's gender cultural
appropriation. You're talking
about
Ghostbusters? You're talking about Ghostbusters?
Right, Ghostbusters. So there had to be a girls' Ghostbusters. They culturally appropriated it. They gender appropriated it for themselves, and they do that with everything. The mechanic, the transporter. I think was what's the newest example of them appropriating gender appropriations? The
Equalizer is one of them. That show.
Equalizer, so you can look over basically a lot of the movies from the probably 2010 up, and most of them have been most of the sitcoms and not in the science fiction and everything has just been genderly appropriated. And I think there's very few honest female characters. That we were trying to think of them once. I think Harley Quinn was always around, and she was in
Suicide Squad. Yeah, what does she do? What does she do? Do karate, kung fu on people? What does she do?
She just has a baseball bat with spikes in it, I think. And
wow, wonderful.
Wow,
I like to see her do that in RP's neighborhood.
Yeah, she like flips.
A guy like RP. What would RP do to Harley Quinn? I mean, it would be like.
And she does the thing where she kind of jumps up.
Wouldn't be good for her. Wouldn't be good for her, I tell you.
Yeah, the funniest thing that I see is they jump up and they wrap their legs around the man, and then they use their leverage from their leg to just flip them. It's like karate flip, yeah. Karate chop, and it's like, oh, that's so hokey. It's like you try that with a man, he's just gonna go like that.
Is it hokey or hoka?
It's hokey. Yeah, but you see that like you have to. They have. I just call it. They have superpowers. They're installed with automatic superpowers.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to accept that. Who's got automatic superpowers? Wonder Woman's got automatic superpowers. She just, for some odd reason, she was. What do they call that in the Marvel world when someone's gets the superpowers and?
What's that one? Lucy or something, or is that the movie with?
There's a Lucy one with she's a spy or something, and she's a hit woman, and it starts off with the Angela Jolie saga. Where she's so beautiful.
Oh she's a Tomb Raider. Tomb
Raider, where she has subtle superpowers,
Well, that was, I just seen this kid walking. It's pretty cool. It's like he's just doing his own thing, and I think he's got like something like disorder or something. His mom's trying to control him. It's just nice to see, though. It's nice to see the kid kind of doing his own thing. Yeah, he's like just wandering. Sorry, he's just walking by me right now.
He's walking by you right now. Cool.
Cool. Yeah, he's like a big kid. It's too bad he's got the something going on. It looks like it could have been a good linebacker or something.
You down in the park right now?
Yeah, I'm at the park. Yeah, I think he's got Down syndrome or some type of.
He's a kid with Down syndrome.
But he's like a big burly kid. I don't know. He's like a big burly, like knock you on your ass. He's probably about 14 year-old kid. Yeah, it's kind of sad to look at, because you can tell he's got a lot of energy and.
Right. Yeah, he's got retard strain too.
Yeah. It's too bad. It really makes me sad to see that, But what are you gonna do? That's life and whatever. And, sometimes we got to give thanks for that we can do things or whatever. But anyway, I just wanted to. Yeah, he's coming back now. Now he's coming back the other way.
Okay.
But it's funny. You see his father's like really having a good. They're all having a blast, just kind of hanging out with their sons.
Cool. I took sort of a bike ride today and looked around, but I didn't really get into the feel of the neighborhood.
I should get him on the phone. I should get this kid on the phone. He's coming out. I don't want to scare his parents away, anyway, it's just good. It's good to see people out and enjoying themselves on this day,
Yeah.
But anyway, we're talking about the thing with that's the Juliette Lewis scene on Natural Born Killers. It traumatized me for 2 decades.
2 decades for Juliette Lewis.
Yeah, yeah,
Not
she's
a
beating
fan.
up these. Yeah, she was. How's it going? All right. Hi. I just walked by him. I had to say hi to him. Good
Okay.
kid. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, that was the scene that like she beats up these two guys in the diner, and I don't know why. I just I unfortunately had to see that scene. That was Oliver Stone. I always thought it was Quentin Tarantino, but that was Oliver Stone.
Oliver Stone, yeah.
Yeah. So that was like I don't know, stuff like that annoys me because you never see that. That's that fantasy fictional world, right? Like that
Right,
you see in Hollywood all the time, and
right.
like Queen Latifah's this equalizer, and I mean Denzel Washington played a great part in that movie, like you know, and they
Yeah,
just destroyed it with that TV series. They destroyed the whole persona of the equalizer.
right around that time. I think Natural Born Killers was kind of the first time they ever did that sort of writing with the female. Before that, it was, I can't remember. You had the Bionic Woman, and
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
it was appropriation to the Bionic Man, but she had bionic powers that weren't superpowers of her own. Actually, they portray her as very weak and timid before that, and
Yeah.
she gets bionic powers. And I can't really think of, there was a Catwoman, but there wasn't a Batman before 90. There wasn't a Batwoman. You didn't have to have a Batwoman.
Right. The Cat Girl. Cat Girl, is that what they call them?
Yeah,
Cat
there
Girl?
was a Catwoman, and that was Halle Berry played it back in the 80s.
Holly Berry, and then it was Michelle Pfeiffer, I think.
Michelle Pfeiffer played it, yeah.
She goes,
And
"Why would you hit a girl?" And then she
she plays on the
with
heartstrings of why would you hit a girl?
Yeah. Do you remember that scene? Why
Yeah.
would you hit a girl? And the guy lowers his guard. I don't know if it was Batman or who, but he lowers his guard after she says that.
But even the opening scene is kind of ridiculous when Halle Berry, she comes in. There's that, I don't know, that monolithic area where you have all the monoliths going up, and then she just kind of drops in and just like wah, and then all the guys are dead.
Yeah. I like to see her pull that shit on the mgtow. Like, why would you hit a girl? And then yeah, sure. JK would give her like a super, what do you call it? Give her like a figure four leg lock. Put her in a figure four leg lock.
Put her in a leg lock.
What was the one they used to have, the wrestling move with the pile driver? They get a pile driver.
Yeah, JK with pile driver.
JK with pile driver. Yeah. Jeff Burns would use it. What's that thing they use in Australia? The thing they throw and it comes back at you. Boomerang.
Yeah.
He was boomeranger. So
now in the newest one, there is a boomerang. The guy's got his boomerang, and the Suicide Squad, and he uses his boomerang for whatever. But was it the female character in that? And besides being really hot, they always.
Oh, sorry, my phone's ringing, Joe. Sorry, it's a little buzzing. A buzz for a couple seconds here.
Okay, I can't hear
it. That's that noise. Yeah, I got a call coming because I'm on my phone.
Okay, isn't it just perfect when you start doing you get a phone call?
Yeah, I don't get a lot of calls on this phone either. I kind of weeded out a lot of people, so
right.
Nice situation I have.
Yeah, I gotta decide on a new phone sometime this year.
Yeah. Okay, just stopped. Yeah. But yeah, what were we talking about? Sorry.
Oh, just the gender appropriation.
Yeah.
With men, they won't find that a real thing either. It's not like cultural appropriation and gender appropriation are the same thing. I mean, we don't borrow figures from or characters from the other gender. Men, I can't think of any. Can you think of any situations where the male, the protagonist male, would borrow characteristics from a female?
No, it's not really.
No, it just doesn't happen. And you got, like, you see it all the time with females, and then they're given the superpower to go along with that, and Even the idea of Batman was he was a regular guy that got into a physical fitness trend and became a better fighter, a better acrobat, or and he could do these things because he trained himself so hard. He didn't have superpowers.
Yeah. Well, his superpower was he's rich.
Yeah, his superpower is like, I'm rich. I'm a billionaire.
Yeah,
That
he
is
just makes
quite
interest off other people. He's making other people work, and he's making money off of their
yeah,
sweat and labor, and then like their interest. He's making money on interest.
that is quite a
That's how.
superpower. I wish I
Yeah,
had that superpower.
yeah. That's why I kind of go back and forth with debt and stuff. But I mean, I would say never go in debt. But if you are in debt, don't really worry about it too much. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it at this point. Just I would just probably pay the minimum in most cases, unless it's a super high interest rate like a credit card. Probably want to get those down, but like if it's a low interest rate, you just kind of pay the minimum. Better
Right.
to build up your own cash flow and your own investments first, and then
Yeah, that's no problem. I told you I was losing by $100 a month, and when I started adding up my interest on my loans and stuff, it was like, shit, man, that's where it is.
Yeah, eats you up. It can eat you up.
Yeah, the interest
sure.
will eat you up, and
right. That's what they do. That's how they make their money. It's so obvious. They do it right in front of your face.
That is nothing but slavery. This says you're not worthy of being in our society where there's this abundance of money because it won't be split up equally. So you can start from a debtor's position and work your way out of it, and that's what slavery is.
Yeah. So don't even. I mean, you're better off just taking 1 or 2 classes and working your way through school, or that's probably the way to do it. Gravitate towards states with no income tax, probably a good move.
Right. Yeah, I wish I could find
stuff
that
like
state.
Nevada, Texas, I think Tennessee, Washington come to mind, and then there's a couple other ones, but that's why Texas is booming. Texas and Nevada are booming right now.
Right. Yeah, because that's the racket. That's the racketeering that they do. They the house taxes and the income taxes and the food taxes. You got a choice between house taxes and food taxes. Florida goes food, and then them are so they can provide services, but those services really don't exist. I mean, it's just a self-serving thing.
They just like I look at all the jobs in Albany, they're all state workers. Just they're working. They're working. Their jobs are lighter than their jobs, pretty much. They get the standard raise every year, pretty much.
Yeah. None of them even got laid off during COVID when there was not a single government worker got laid off. Now they talked about the police ran out of money, so some police officers got laid off. But But yeah, that's the men, the men that actually do the job. That's who they lay off. Them are the blue collar, guys, and you would never lay off some of the administration.
Yeah.
Like the mayor's office and the the tax collection. Why do we lay off the tax collection department?
I mean, and then they'll hit you like they hit me with like a huge bill, like because I didn't add something. Something weird happened. I forget what it was. And next thing you know, I got a $15,000 bill. I'm like, wow, that's great.
Wow. Yeah.
it's like okay. So that's not fun to get those kind of bills.
No, yeah, they did. I told you they did that to me, and it was just a simple explanation, and which they could have checked in a heartbeat, and they refused to check it. They refused to check, and there's no way I could, like, okay, this is both of them were their departments.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, so you're just not going to check that, and it's like you can do it in a phone call and find out, and they wouldn't do it, so they can keep taking the money from me.
Yeah, I mean, the way you fight back is just kind of, I think, living a minimal type lifestyle and just lower your
uh,
property tax burdens, where you live, and so you don't pay a
$21,000.
lot
That
of
was.
taxes.
God, it looked so horrible
Yeah,
that
yeah,
year. That was like in the state of
yeah.
Ohio, if you take an illegal payroll deduction, they're deducting from my payroll on a pretty much an illegal basis, which they wouldn't check the facts, and they took 21,000. So really, in Ohio, it's 100 times that amount. So they owe me $210,000, or no, they owe me
Wow,
$2.1 million.
wow.
That's when the tax lady came out, and she said she was just wanted to make sure that I wasn't living well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, just the arrogant, they're just so arrogant,
I
and
looked
that's the thing
outside.
about these corporations, they don't even pay their fair share of taxes.
No, they don't. Yeah,
They got the best attorneys, they got the best friends in government, so they just
yeah.
already, they all work hand in hand.
It's funny that it didn't even. I didn't. I didn't even get a choice to have an attorney. They just put the fines on me automatically, and I didn't even. There was no going to court. There was no defending myself, and that's what they
Right,
do for
right,
poor guys like me. They just take it.
right,
And for rich people, they get the chance to go to court. There's a different court system for those. The
right,
biggest, yeah, the biggest crime in America is being poor. If
right.
from the eyes of the legal system, if you can't afford to buy them off, then you deserve to go to jail.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I always say that I can't, like, I have a lot of like empathy towards these married guys, like, and people that have dependents, I should say, because they're
Oh,
under a lot of stress. I don't even know if they even realize what's happening to them. They probably just think it's normal to have all that stress,
yeah, they
but
do.
it's really not. Like I walk in nature almost every day, and sometimes I'll go for like an hour, sometimes I'll go for 6, 7 hours,
Yeah,
and they don't have that opportunity to do those type of things. And I think a lot about things and what I want to do in my future, and analyze myself, and and they don't have that time to do that. They're just always work, 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 and they don't get enough rest, and because they got all these dependents to take care of, and they got all these
right.
bills and taxes, and the kids got to go to college, and all this kind of whatever.
Yeah, look at the idea of the house husband too. How it's like that's a shameful thing if you're a house husband. You just stay home and take care of the kids. It's like
Right.
yeah, it's so looked down upon by but being a housewife is like strong and pretend a housewife, but if
Yeah.
you're a house
Yeah.
husband,
That's
you're a,
hypocrisy. Yeah.
you're more hypocrisy in that same manner.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I know a couple guys that used to be you would never get away with that being a house husband. It's like that was just like you could never do that when I was growing up and in my adolescence and everything. That would have been the worst thing in the world you could have done. You would have had no social friends, and it was like, but yeah. Nowadays, I started noticing this around with my youngest son was like growing up, and then a lot of his I don't know what you would call him. He's not an Xer, he's an Xer, the wire or something, and yeah, a lot of his buddies are okay. I'm just gonna be a house husband and hang around and take care of the kids. She's off working.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you can do it. It's,
But I seen the hypocrisy of that play out in court too. When he went before, he didn't get the kids like a housewife would. She got the kids, and it's like, why would that work like that for him? And for most housewives, they get the kids, but he has to pay her. Why would that work out like that for him? And that was he was the main provider. He was the provider
Yeah.
in the but it's I guess it's how you look at what a provider is. It's like in that case, she was like, oh, she's a strong, independent provider. She was going to work. No, she can't be like, you can't have that thing on both ends where the female is the provider for emotional support and the kids' well-being and everything for the tender years laws and all that going forward. But yeah, they get both ends of the spectrum. Now, what I say is when you analyze real things, you put them on a field, and then on that field you have two opposite ends of the spectrum, and one should negate the other one as it goes through. And if you put those two things on the field, the both opposite ends, one doesn't negate for one gender. So it's an absurdity. It's hypocrisy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that's why we made the right decision, obviously, to do what we're doing, and we get ridiculed for that because we see the hypocrisy and we take action and make the right decision.
To be a mgtow is just making a better decision for his own well-being.
Yeah, I don't see how any guy that's been married can really say they made the right decision. They're being honest with themselves. I just don't see it. And not only that, like even having children outside, even if you're not married, just having children, like I don't see how that can be a good decision. I mean,
yeah, a lot of them will lie back on the joy of being a father, the joy of fatherhood. Well, explain that joy of fatherhood to me. What do you get out of this? You get a metaphysical feeling of being a father, and then but with that you get all the responsibility, and it's just you get all the responsibility. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, doesn't seem like a good formula for success. Everything you get, it goes to her.
Yeah, everything you get.
She controls everything. I see it all the time. These guys, like, their wife determines everything. And then I'm the crazy one because I'm traveling cross country, and relaxing and enjoying myself.
Enjoying yourself, taking some time for yourself.
Yeah, taking time. Yeah, exactly. I'm the crazy one. Yeah, sure.
Joey, you making a girl unhappy somewhere. There's a girl that should be taken care of by you. Yeah. Your what would you call it? Your other half that was like at birth, that like there was another half out there that you needed to find, and you have a magic link with. Well, you're not thinking about her.
Yeah.
That's such a stupid thing that they think. You complete me.
Yeah, Jerry Maguire, you complete me. Yeah, that was a really strange. But these are all by design. These movies are not those lines like a Jerry Maguire, you complete me. Those are the Kennedys and Onassis and whatever whoever's running the 14 family, whatever they're called.
Remember when
the Church Illuminati in the corner? They want those messages to get out to the public. So that's what they want you to think is that you're completed by They want that message out there, that Jesus, message or whatever.
They're very good at getting their message out there too. I don't know, companies and organizations. There's organizations that just filter the internet so the message stays pro-female like that. I looked for that Matthew McConaughey clip for like 2 hours last night, and they eliminated that clip. And every time I would type it in, you know which one I would get? I would get when he tells his woman she's like so special that like, and she.
Oh, what was that movie though? Did you ever catch it? Or let me. You sure it's McConaughey, right? Let me look up all.
Yeah, it's Matthew McConaughey, and it's Failure to Launch. I think it's.
Oh, it's Failure to Launch. Okay.
Yeah, Failure to Launch, and he's like an immature 35-year-old male and then he gives a speech inside of a restaurant or something about what love
the pheromones.
Yeah, about pheromones. It's just pheromones, and there's oxytocins, and you get taken over. That's what love is.
And then they make him out to be the crazy one.
Yeah. They try to make him out. Somehow I don't know how it ends up. I never watched it. The whole thing is just too hard to watch for a mgtow. It's like can hurt your brain. Don't do it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it did well in the box office.
Yeah, it did well in the box office because everybody.
Oh, Sarah Jessica Parker's in that movie, Joe.
Yes, I thought you'd enjoy it just because Sarah Jessica Parker's in it.
Yeah, she does look like a horse, doesn't she?
The only good part about that movie, which I thought was Terry Bradshaw's the father.
Oh, okay. He's the father. Does he play himself in that as a football player?
No, I don't think he plays himself. I can't remember his character in that, but it was the first time I ever seen Terry Bradshaw as a movie star. It's kind of funny.
I'm gonna type in failure to launch pheromones.
That's the other side of the Ohio wall. Is
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
he's from. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't get gay people can't get by Pittsburgh. 6 Super Bowls. You can't get by 6 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
That's we're blocked off, or we're in a we're in a gay gridlock here. They can't get over the lake. They can't get by Mike Pence, and they can't get over the mountains, and they can't get by 6 Super Bowls. So it's like, yeah, that's my joke.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to get that movie and just watch it, and I can't find that clip anyway.
Yeah, I think Felix. It was either Felix or Global Man. Maybe it was Global Man that put it up. Someone noticed the clip
and it's Global Man.
It's Global Man. Yeah, he's been putting like clips of movies and stuff lately, and somebody put it up the other day. Had noticed it that this is what love is, and but they will never show that. When you do a Google search on it, they go right to either his absurd scene in The Wolf of Wall Street, or they go to the one where he tells his wife that she's the one.
Yeah.
So they do a good job of internet cleanup. Google does a really good job on that, so that we don't get a mgtow message out.
Yeah,
I think
they nip it in the bud pretty much. I mean, they give a Sandman like sugar. He's like the Sandman. Yeah. What did I call him last time? Sandman something or Sand something. What did I call him last time? I forget what I called him.
I'm not really sure. You made a comment. I was trying to figure out, like, I wanted you to say it again, but you didn't say it again.
Sand fruity or something. I called him. I don't know.
Oh, Fruity. Yeah. You said you made something. Yeah.
I called him something weird. Like, I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, his voice is emasculated. It's a robot emasculated voice, which is I mean, you can tell that he's not
he's not a
right.
Yeah, he's not a mgtow. No, he's not a mgtow.
It's always a little gay. The gay. He's pushing the gay rights. So we used to push it a lot, and it's like, that's that mgtow light I talk about, like mgtow light.
Yeah. I got my first robin. I can see. Oh, that's nice. Look at that thing. He doesn't give a shit. Those look a lot more intimidating than you would think, right? Those robins.
Yeah.
They look nasty. They look kind of mean, man. It's like
every year.
Like, it's a cute little robin. Yeah, right. You get close to that thing. That's got those beady eyes, man.
Yeah. No, don't screw with the bluebirds, because the bluebird is the asshole of birds.
Oh, it is? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's the asshole of birds. Bluebirds are notorious for being assholes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they got that they do that thing. You'll hear it. It's like you go, oh shit, did that come out of a bird?
Wow.
You would think they would have a sweet little whistle, but they don't.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. So you bird watch. You should get some binoculars and bird watch.
It's pretty cool, huh? Yeah. No, I'm just walking and I just saw the robin flying.
I don't do bird watching when I go out. It's kind of something I notice, but I'm more into the flora, the fauna, and the rocks. And it's like, what can I find out here?
Yeah, it's so nice here, especially this time of year. It's like incredible.
Oh yeah, it's 85 degrees and sunny, 76 degrees.
Yeah, it's just how you're supposed to live, and enjoying it here. Yeah, just trying to think things over and make good decisions, and like that simp. I'm just done. I just can't talk to him anymore. I just had enough.
Yeah.
I just had enough. Yeah, he's just forget it.
Yeah, I can't do the simp talk for too long, and it's just like, it's irritating. You want to tell the person the truth, but the truth. It'll just be a flyby on them.
They just cause so many problems. I mean, you end up losing time and money pretty much when you're around them. That's really what it comes down to. Yeah, who wants that? They're bad for business. Simps are bad for business.
Right. Yeah.
Pretty much. But yeah, I like that quote. This old Savant, kind of going back to that quote. It's like
Yeah, he did a good
really,
job on that, and that's seeing what we're
yeah,
saying. He sees what we're saying as a truth, and we give good
yeah,
examples of, and we give good examples, cultural examples. We give sociological examples. I think we give biological examples and scientific examples of it, and we do a good job covering all those topics, uh, and I mean, once you pretty much in science, once you hit three of those, is considered a truth. But in culture, they'd rather live in that fantasy fiction land. And
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, like Jesus, that Jesus thing. I mean, do you ever stop to consider that Jesus didn't exist? That it's just a made
yeah,
up story? Like you don't stop to even think about that. You're so programmed into thinking that he was real.
yeah. Somebody gave me a comment this morning that Jesus was a mgtow, and I'm thinking, no, he wasn't.
Well, he didn't exist, so it doesn't really
Yeah, and the
it
wedding
doesn't
of
make
Cana,
any sense.
yeah, the
Yeah.
wedding of Cana, and that was like I said, that mysteriously appeared, and after so many years of that story mysteriously appeared, and St. Thomas of Aquinas talks about it, and that rolls generally into the polygamy that we see nowadays, or the polyandry that we see nowadays. Who was directing the wedding? Mary Magdalene was directing the wedding. Why was Jesus there, and why was he told? He was told to 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 serve like wine, and what did he say about those things? And it's like, so the woman was directing the wedding, and it's like, well, that doesn't seem like a MGTOW. He was there for some purpose or something, and that's, yeah, a lot of the
Yeah.
stuff historically, it just doesn't make sense when we try to put the things together, and there's other incidences of that too, when Jesus just goes to this random girl's house just for because. I think we lost Joey there. He's in the park, and probably his phone went out for a second. He'll come right back in, and we'll talk about religion and that stuff. And so, yeah, a lot of the Bible is just for it's just
Okay.
control. Yeah, you dropped out there for a second.
Oh,
That's
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And for the guys that are in America, happy Independence Day. It's when we
Yep.
forcefully uh, got our independence from overtaxation.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what they tell us, huh? The Boston Tea Party.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, ooh, you're Frankensteining. Got it?
Oh, hey there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. There you
Okay.
go.
No, I'm just saying, why would you throw away all that good tea?
Yeah, well, I got tea
Doesn't
away.
make any
Yeah, there's
sense.
some stories behind that. Well, they usually pull up the cultural appropriation part where they all dress like Indians, and, and that was
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and blame they blamed it on the savages, were the non-contacted people.
Yeah. What's your best 4th of July story from your life?
Oh God, my best 4th of July. Oh, I used to think it was like when I was at Fort Lee. I had a really terrific 4th of July there, but I can't really at this age remember what it was all about. I will remember what I actually did that day. It was just, they had great fireworks, and we had time off, and we had steaks, and it was just a
Yeah.
good day all around.
Oh yeah, I smelled some good chicken on the barbecue. I was at the park.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't.
Just smelling it, man. It's just good enough. You don't even have to eat the darn thing.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what I wanted to cook today, so we just went out for breakfast. Either I bought like one of each thing just in case I wanted like if I wanted chicken, I would have put chicken on. If I wanted a steak, I would have put steak on. Or if I just wanted like a hamburger, but then I was just like, okay, I'm just going to go out to breakfast at the breakfast restaurant.
Yeah.
It's like, that's much easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, but those ribs were looking really good, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done ribs for a long time.
My buddy did. My sim friend does ribs, and
Does he do ribs?
yeah, but I just, all the perks of staying there, and just I can't deal with this woman. I just can't deal with her.
Yeah, I used to have a great rib. It was a gas grill that I converted into a slow cooker and a fire slow cooker for wood, a wood burner slow cooker, and then I would take ribs and I'd put them on one side and put the metal piece in and start the fire on the other side. I just close it, and then it would, like, 4 hours later, 6 hours later, I come back and just coat them with barbecue sauce, and they were delicious. Someone stole that, a truck, a hillbilly scrapper, pulled right up in my backyard through my neighbor's yard, and you can see the tire tracks to this day where it was muddy, and they pulled up, and then they threw my gas grill in back of in their truck and stole it.
Wow.
It was like, I worked so hard on that thing. It was just a regular old fashioned gas grill. And so I bought a little burner, and I made the little burner on one side, and then you'd stack wood on that side and start with the burner. And then that would just keep the heat perfect. And I had to fabricate the whole thing, and then someone stole it.
Yeah, I don't get people that steal shit. I mean, I really don't. I mean, yeah, I just don't get it.
Yeah, that's weird. And this gas
very
grill,
weird. And, yeah, it's very weird, and it shows you that talk about maturity. It's like,
yeah,
women do it all the time. Don't get away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they steal the big things. Right? They don't steal
Right, the big things. Yeah. So there's always someone stealing something. I always wanted to build a rock grill. We used to have one when I was a kid in my backyard. We had a pretty big backyard, and way at the back was this big, tall rock grill, and it had a cement surface and these big grill things, and then 2 storage units on the side. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's definitely a good day. 4th of July. Definitely have a steak somewhere. I still got some time. I haven't had a steak yet today.
Yeah, you think it's only like 1:00 there today? No.
No. It's 5:30.
Oh, you're in.
I'm back on the East Coast. Yeah, I'm back on the East Coast.
You're back on the East Coast.
Yeah, I'm back on the East Coast.
It's 5:36.
Yeah, I couldn't take it with the sim friend. I couldn't take it.
Yeah, you still got time.
Too much
You got restaurants.
Yeah.
And that's what I would say for most mgtows to do. If you just can't take the holiday stuff, the ostracization and the people thinking you're crazy and stuff because you're not with a significant other, you just go out to a restaurant, grab a friend and go out to a restaurant, or find a single friend and go out to a restaurant and get a steak and a bottle of wine and make a day of it. Yeah.
Well, that's annoying too. Not only like today, but I got an invitation for a wedding. It's like I just don't want to go. I just don't want to go because I don't feel like dealing with the when are you gonna marry? When you marry,
Yeah. Well, you should bring Hoka as your +1.
Yeah. I bring I'll bring Hoka dressed in drag.
Yeah, just bring Hoka as your +1, and you can into wine.
This is I bring Hoka as the right. He can make the wine like we're out of wine. Okay, bring him in. Where's Hoka?
Okay, yeah.
He can change it. He can bring his value that way. But yeah, I just most of the time I just send a card in with a check or whatever. Yeah. You know what? I don't even send checks. You know what you do now? Like I just send a money order. Because I had a guy who I sent a friend got married and I was on California at the time. So I sent him a check and he didn't cash it. And I was like trying to account for the check.
Yeah.
And I think he purposely didn't cash it for whatever reason. And I'm like, you know what? Forget it. I give you a gift. You should catch the damn thing. I mean, I got kind of upset. And it's like, you know what? Next time I'm just going to do a money order.
Right. Yeah.
So he has to, he has to
have apps now. You transfer money to, we use apps.
Yeah, or like a gift card. But sometimes you're afraid those things get lost or stolen.
Right. PayPal.
Yeah. So that's why I write the check. But the guy didn't cash the check. It was kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Because what do you expect me to do? Fly coast to coast? I mean, he's not immediate family. It's not,
Yeah.
Extended family. It's like, I'm not going to fly coast to coast for a wedding. I don't think it's, unless I really like the person or whatever, then maybe you make an exception. But I had a friend in college. He was like upset. Well, why don't you go to my wedding? This is like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, come on.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, weddings are definitely uncomfortable, but I'd say if you're not comfortable in a situation, just don't go. Just don't go. You don't owe anybody an explanation.
Now every PUA will go to the wedding. Like, they're thinking they're going to get some ass at the wedding.
Oh yeah, like the wedding crashers or whatever.
The wedding crash. They all think they're the wedding crashers.
Those guys are so cool. Nah, just kidding. Yeah, right. Wedding crashers. Yeah.
Yeah, weddings are depressing too. All the married men. If you go to a wedding, you'll be the single guy there. You'll sit at the end of the bar by yourself, and before you know it, you're going to have 8 or 9 married men around you. And they're all going to be talking about their wives and what stupid things they do.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're going to notice one by one, the hens will come over and start picking them off. And then they'll be like, yes, honey. And they'll start doing the simp thing. And it's like, it's just a total display of total simpery. But at first they want to get away. They want to enjoy like being around the only bachelors in there. And it's like, oh yeah, that and then the women notice that no, they can't be around those guys. Those guys will corrupt them.
Well, I always used to say that I'm surrounded by a sea of simptitude.
Yep, there's a sea of simptitude in there, and man, that's hard to get rid of. Yeah, so I'm just gonna take Hoka to my plus one.
Yeah. You can turn the water into wine, and I mean, you put a blonde wig on Hoka, hey, you're doing good.
That's Xiaomi class.
Or you bring Kevin Samuel and his perfume, and he can spray it on everybody.
Spray it on everybody.
Guy, you ever see that guy? Did you ever hear him? Or?
I have
life coach, painful life coach.
It's painful.
He's so painful, Joe. He's like, he's so painful. He sprays perfume on himself right before the show and after the show. And then he's just always like he doesn't even have a great resume. You look at his resume, he's like, I mean, he's got like an engineering degree, which is good, but he went to like an average, Oklahoma State, which is probably an average school, nothing, not bad, not good, whatever, decent school, it's a accomplishment. You get a 4-year degree, it's a compliment. And then he worked at he had like a sales job for like 3 years. And like he's got like no and then so he does like life coaching. Like what qualifies him to be a life coach? It's like you don't really have any accomplishments. You didn't start a business. You didn't do anything. I mean, he started a business, I guess, consulting business.
Yeah.
But he's just preying on people. He's pretty much preying on ignorant people.
Does he do Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Yeah, probably. Probably does. Yeah. These guys crack me up, man. These life coaches, they don't bring any. That's one. I know it's one thing that pisses you off, right? Like, pretty much.
Life coaching, yeah.
Yeah, because they're just preying on people that are looking for answers, pretty much, and they don't have the answers. RP says that all the answers are pretty much within yourself. You can pretty much find them. You can walk in nature and you can find them pretty much.
Yeah, just to ask yourself the right questions and ask yourself honest questions. You'll get the answers. Do some inner dialogue on it, and right answers to your questions. And all those life coaches are based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And if I had a hammer. If you're a hammer, is his only book, and but you'll notice if you ever kind of look at one of those courses, they're all based in the same structure.
Yeah, there's nothing unique, and again, a lot of those guys are put forth by by the, you know, I guess higher ups. They approve it.
There's here's your product, you know, be a salesman, and that's what he is. He's a salesman,
right?
This
guy. Why don't they have guys like you? Why don't they have guys like you teaching at university? And trying to help them, and you know, why isn't that happening?
Yeah, they don't want that. You know, there's going to be too much truth all up around here.
Right. There'll be too much upheaval, and men actually having a better life for themselves.
Yeah. Oh, so imagine what they would do to me. I mean, they would try to kill me, I suppose.
Yeah. Instead, we got Kevin Samuels. He's the hot potato. Recently, the new hot fad on YouTube.
Yes, he is so.
We watch him for entertainment. We watch him for entertainment, though.
Yeah. Yeah, he is so non-offensive.
Entertainment value.
Yeah, he's so non-abrasive. It's like, that's the trick with that. You just got to be a non-abrasive, non-offensive person, and you know, he's sticking to middle truths on everything. So everybody gets to take home what they want, and ideologically. And,
well, he's in this fantasy fiction too, the way he talks, because he talks about how you need $350,000 a year to live, or he's in Atlanta. Well, he's in Atlanta, so. But he says, oh, you need 350,000, and then it's one lady's like, oh, I need 6,000 a month to live or something. He goes, oh, that's not enough. Even he would say, oh, it's not enough. Oh, it's not enough.
That's not enough to live. Yeah.
I mean, it's like he's just there's just fantasy fiction world that he's living in. This guy, you know, Samuels.
Yeah. Well, we gotta have more and everything.
Yeah. Well, that's what Maslow was too. Maslow was essentially a life coach, right? I mean, pretty much.
Yeah, Maslow was a life coach. He was he was super popularized at the time with Freud, and and it was almost a shame, and it was you know, popularization of it. It was easy for people to understand that because it was just a triangle. You know, you give people a triangle, and that's easy to understand, huh?
Yeah, it's like the food pyramid, right? Kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like the food,
which is actually not even healthy. Like the food pyramid's actually incorrect in a lot of ways.
And so you know, people grasp hold of that middle truths that are easy to understand. That's probably why when you do your resume, you should make it as simple and easy to understand as possible, and just expect that there's more in this world.
Yeah. But these guys are, you know, they want you to think that you're inadequate. That you need them, you know.
And that's what it's about. It's getting what they want, and you know, as long as men are taking care of the girls and accepting that duty as honor and chivalry. But with that, you just have to accept your slavery, and you're going to have an unhappy life. That's, you know,
right.
I mean,
frustrating life. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to be stressed out.
Yeah, most of the time. And she is going to, she gets all the gifts and prizes and happiness, and you get to go to work and struggle.
Right. That's right.
So, you know, that's what religion brought us, and that's why I always bring it up. Like, how did this thing get here like this? Well, I kind of tell how it gets here. You know, I don't beat around the bush to that thing. It's like, you know, and people it just goes right over their heads. Man, I'm tired.
Getting tired? Yeah. No, that's good. It's good. We just did a quick show. I know.
Yeah, it's about an hour and 4 now. Yeah. We did a quick show on Sunday, and you guys got your forgiveness for all you guys go your own way. You got your forgiveness for your Simpsons, and now you can you know, be mgtows and Reverend Joe Incel Whisperer.
Yeah, you know, and you know, just enjoy your life. I mean, you know, enjoy your life. And I mean, I know it's hard for married people with children to kind of.
There's plenty.
You're kind of in a trap, but you just have to try to manage your way to I wouldn't. I don't know. What advice do you give to married men with children that get this revelation? Like, what do you say to them?
I don't really. It's too late. If they're married and they got children, they're in that, and then they got to figure that out because I can't give them any
Yeah,
advice that wouldn't hurt them.
yeah,
I mean, get a separate bank account, hide it somewhere, and prepare
true.
yourself for that day where she's going to come home with her boyfriend and tell you it's none of your business.
Yeah, yeah. Just be emotionally prepared and financially prepared. I guess that
Yeah,
definitely good.
don't let her take over paying all the bills. I mean, you make sure you keep, you know, you have to keep some money off to the side there. So when that does come, you're not totally taken off guard, and you have some resources to protect yourself. That's what advice I'd give to married men that want to think in a mgtow way. I mean, don't tell her about that. That's one of my biggest mistakes. I told my ex about that, and well, it's gone.
Oh, you told her about the? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and
About the
that's
resources?
I was left so vacant for so long because
Yeah.
there was no savings for me. She had run through everything
Wow.
while
Incredible.
while I was at work. I was working 16 hours a day, and I wasn't doing my banking. I wasn't paying attention like I'd pay attention today. Every day I open up my bank account and I look at it and I see
Yeah.
make sure nothing's missing. Huh.
Yeah.
But get used to doing your own banking. A lot of guys they don't do that. A lot of guys can't even make their own beds. That's why they have to have a woman around. And for those guys, they might have to have a woman, a mom in their life. You know, you ever think about that? They have to have someone take care of them because they can't do their own banking. They can't figure out how to make their bed or do their laundry. They're the kind of goofy guys that pour bleach right into laundry make machine. Like, they're just silly guys. And these guys, these low IQ or whatever you want to call them, not socially inept guys, may want to get married and have a partnership that someone she can wipe his butt for him, and if you got your little powder when he start, the powder when you start chafing, and make sure he doesn't get milk all in his beard in the morning before he goes out. She can pat his face and put some moisturizer on it, so he doesn't get chapped. There are guys like that. Most of those married guys are like that. They don't want to do anything. They can't take care of themselves. I mean, we don't want them in mgtow, and we get them around here trying to pretend like they're like they're mgtows, and we see the difference in that. But just give them a little powder and powder their balls and send them on their way, and so they don't chafe so hard. Go get yourself a unicorn. That's the only thing you could tell them. Some of those guys are so offensive too to your nature. You just go, you should just go get married. You deserve that.
Yeah.
For those guys, they're not MGTOWs. We don't have a name for those, a proper name for those kind of guys in MGTOW. We got me and you, I think it's our duty. And maybe we can get some help from the guys in the chat about what do you call those guys that need a wife, that have to have their balls powdered and make sure, everything taken care of them. What do you call a guy like that? It's not quite a simp, and he can never be a white knight because he's such a screw up. I mean, he's what?
Well, I don't know. They're just. I don't know what you would call them. I mean, they're just
a baby. How do you say?
Yeah.
Oh, the baby.
Yeah.
We could start with there. A mama's boy. Yeah, mama's boy. The baby.
Bobby baby.
Yeah, the baby.
We used to have this. There was these two guys that ran a poker game years ago, and they were like the bookies and kingpins. And this one guy used to call. He used to say, one guy was Billy, other guy was Bobby. And there's a time guy come up with a nickname. He goes, "Hey, look at you two, Billy, Bobby, baby."
Baby.
his because like those two together have a baby together, because they were like partners, they're like attached to the hip kind of thing. So like Billy Bobby baby, it's like that's kind of like, yeah, you're right, they're babies. That's essentially right, because I mean, even myself, I was like kind of like, not to say I was I guess we all go through our simp stage, but like I look back on my life and I had to rebel against my mother like so many times because she would try to run my life, and I know she, at least I thought she was at the time like looking after me, but a lot of times she's just looking after her own interest, I hate to say that,
Yeah, there's some. I was looking up synonyms for mama's boy. They got Molly.
Yeah, being a mama boy, it's not good, And
Yeah,
you see a lot of
lightweight.
these like athletes that are like that. They're like, "Oh, my mama did
Yeah,
this, and my
mama.
mama."
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
namby-pamby.
yeah. Like Kevin Durant is the guy that comes to mind. Not just him. It's
Yeah,
not just black athletes. It's white athletes too. I mean, they're all kind of the high mom thing. Remember the
yeah. I was like, if it wasn't for my mom and my grandmother, I wouldn't be
yeah,
here.
yeah, exactly. He's the one that's developed his talent and worked hard to become a good athlete, and then he's thanking his mother who did pretty much nothing to help them other than birth them. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
And 80% of DNA comes from a man anyway, right? Pretty much, is that right?
Uh, she copies 80% of the DNA. You got to remember what sperm is. I talked about it the other day, and this is where most men get lost. Yeah, sperm is a transposon. It's a DNA sequencer. So when it's like pollen. Pollen's a transposon. It's a DNA sequencer. When it hits it, it changes the DNA of those particular two strands. Your DNA changes two strands, which are signets of, and then those two strands become the two next cells. And then from there, it's 100% her. She has the duplication, but in this the way it gets kind of difficult because it's a negation of a duplication. If a female had the seed comes down, her egg, which is a seed, and if it just duplicated on its own, there would be a duplication of her. And we can't, think bad things happen, like when you have a field corn, when it turns black and red and all those funny colors, that's a duplication of itself. The transposon never enacted. So, what was the original question?
The percentage of DNA comes from a man.
Yeah, so 86%, and there's percentages that they say this is your child, you're the father, but that really doesn't happen that way. You don't that sperm is not a seed; it's just a transposon, and she duplicates it. It changes her genetic material in what you call jumping genes. The genes reorganize themselves. It's not this entanglement of love, like, and then they just come out and they poof, and they're like different genes. That's magic thinking. What you have is transposon, and most transposon have shells. We just don't have this, and it's a yeah. So 80% and upwards, percentage has the characteristics of the male because she duplicated it. From there, it's just a photography of that.
Yeah.
Because there's not that many.
So these athletes really should be thanking their fathers first, because that's
right. They should be thanking their fathers for the genes they got, and it's 50% of the personality is going to be immediately their father's genes. Other things go into that. We had the argument, not Milton, Milstuff.
50% of the personality, you said? Is that what you said?
Yeah, 50% of the personality is going to be the fathers, and 50% of all the, everything that happens with that kid. And now there is social environment changes and social, and then there's some things you just can't count on. The anneals, you cannot count on what is going to happen with those. There's two kinds. Either it gets this one or this one, and it's just it makes for differences, and there's anomalies in that. So that's probably the 17% anomaly factor in that, which makes a big difference when you're talking about that many gene sequences.
Yeah. The other 50%, what was this combination of different things? Like, what is it? What's the other 50?
So it's major, but you can see difference between children too. You carry the same DNA, but there's differences between the children.
But what's the other 50%? 50%
It's probably social, environmental.
Oh, okay. So the combination, maybe a little bit of the female.
They say 50%. I think it's more like it's probably more like 62 to 68% of you're going to be like your parents, like your male parent.
Right. So she say 60 to 70. Say 60 to 70%.
Yeah, they say 50.
Will be like your father. Will be like your father.
Yeah, they always say that. It's 50-50. Go both ways. Just
and then the other 30 to 40% would be just like
right.
the
chances you get out
the environment.
I mean, think about like if you were born like rich and you had no problems in life, and you were born poor, you have stressors.
Right.
Like them stressors would influence you in different ways, and that would become your future. Some people do good with stressors. That's where the kind of bounce back and forth, how people react to stressors, how people react to pain, how people react to emotional things, those things. We're all different in those things, and that has a lot to do with your needs and how you uptake, information and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to it. We know more about it now. We can see, sections that get lit up, sections that don't in your brain when you're doing thinking, and how women think with their frontal cortex, and how men are like more, it's all around. And I think that's because of our optics. The male gaze is a real thing. Our optics go back. It goes in, it gets censored, it goes back to these portions here, then it gets dispersed. When we say the male is on the hunt, he is really on the hunt. When you get a male excited, he gets the look, and he starts doing the thing, and he's hunting.
Yeah.
Not that we hunt a lot anymore, but if you ever been down in the woods or with a bow and arrow, like this one, and you got to run after something, and you're hunting, you get the look and you get the feel, you get the that has a lot to do with how you process information. There was a great what was the thing about how you there's a lion in the darkness, and people react different to that.
Right.
How did we get censured by Moogie? Who's Moogle? Does he mean Google?
It's in the chat.
Yeah, Eric was. How did we get censured by? Let me put it out. By Moogle.
Oh, the OG Eric Winger, the OG.
OG Eric.
It's only probably 10 OGs.
Oh, yeah, I think Jeff said they.
Wingards, one Fagator's an OG, RP's an OG, Heady's an OG, JK's an OG, Jeff's an OG, you're an OG, I'm an OG. Well, yeah. I'm trying to look at the chat. Did I miss anybody?
Yeah.
OG mgtow. Who else is there? Who am I thinking of? No, I don't know. Who else? Did I miss anybody? Black Wolf's.
Yeah, he's a
mgtow, but yeah, he's got to earn OG status. He's all right. Nah, just joking, buddy.
He's YG.
What's that?
He's YG.
What's that? YG.
Young guy.
Yeah, young guy. He's young guy. Yeah, but he'll. Yeah, he's just almost there.
He's almost there. He's getting there. Yeah.
He'll be OG status like very shortly.
I'm just like YG still, but he's like I got OG status.
Reneus is OG. Renelis,
yeah.
Canada, Canadian. He's a Canadian OG. And then I'm trying to think. Anyone else that I missed off the top of my head?
JK.
No, I got JK. Pile driver. He does. That's his move. The pile driver.
Yeah.
He'll get Harley Quinn in a pile driver and slam her.
He's gonna slam her.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm trying to think of who else did I miss.
Jeff Burns says monk since 2014.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was that was an interesting time. I thought it was gonna take off a lot more than it did. I think what happened was I don't know. What do you think happened? It just seemed like like things were starting to explode right around there, like I say, early 2010s around there.
Yeah, 2012 and 2012 was when most of the guys came in, but that was the Barbarossa and Stardust and who else was around? That was Men Woman With was still hot, and what's his name? The guy that I like, the Thugtician was still around during them times, and you got guys. We weren't censored as much either, and so they got to say what they wanted to say, and they were dynamic and the way they presented their arguments were good. So there was a big uplift in time. We don't have that anymore, where we have these powerful speakers, and I think it's really important. We get people that are better at public speaking and just don't. Now we got the mgtow light where they just rattle off all the catchphrases and the cool frat boy stuff that they want to hear, and that's not mgtow. But mgtow,
like Coach Greg Adams and what was the other guy, Red Pill Bulldog or something?
I mean, but you got to think about the guys that hung on, back 2004 and everything was, there was a contingent of guys over at the spearhead, and there was a contingent of guys at the Hawaiian. I can't remember what was that, the Hawaiian thing, and there was a contingent of mgtows and mgtow. That was Paco's mgtow, the first mgtow open. And those guys were just putting together the terminology and the way we talk, and them are the guys that came up with hypergamy and simping and the white knight theory and all that stuff, the kind of basic mgtow. And then like in 2012, it just kind of took off.
Yeah.
But there was just kind of a natural occurrence. Well, there was, like I say, when we went over to Paco's site, which was the first mgtow site, we just wanted to get away from the MRAs and the PUAs because we thought they were so stupid. And we wanted somewhere where we can talk without being badgered. And we still don't have that nowadays. Like, we still don't have somewhere we can talk and discuss our philosophy and they kind of let us do it on YouTube here because of freedom of speech and all, but still they censor us a lot. We get put way down in the onion.
Yeah, that's right.
So that was kind of the history of mgtow. I would say at that point the big thing, it was all the parts coming together, like the sign, like PUA going Galt, MRA, and mgtow was just kind of all forming in a common idea.
Yeah. Yeah, it was an interesting time, that's for sure.
Yeah. 2012, 2000 was exciting,
Yeah.
When you heard these guys talk and you're like, oh, yeah, they're finally getting what we're saying.
Yeah.
And it wasn't all about the P and masculinity and try to be the best guy you can be, and then that way you'll get the most ass.
Well, then you pretty much had a big split between the PUA and then the TradCon. What was the one you said? Oh, MRA. Yeah, the MRA, which is pretty much TradCon, right?
Different things. We have these guys that getting, the PUA and that was just about getting ass and all that stuff. And they
Right.
were looking at it from a totally different perspective. We were talking about a bunch of guys that were experiencing the horrors of feminism, and their marriages were ending, their relationships were ending. Something had changed so dramatically during the 90s and the 80s that the idea of interacting with a female became like so risky. And these guys were talking about, we were telling the stories, we were telling our stories, what happened to me and what happened to the other guys and why they don't do it no more. But the POAs were like trying to screw that and just say, go back and get some of that V. That'll help you out.
Right.
And it was like, no, this is what happened when we tried it.
They were saying, try again.
Get back
You
on
didn't
that.
do it right.
Guy.
Yeah, you didn't do it right. Look at Hoka. He walks on water. He he solves global issues. Like you be like more like Hoka, and then you'll be fine. Or get that. Well, I was just joking around. But, like get that unicorn, like heartburn.
Well, yeah. What's wrong with you? Can't you just get that unicorn? It's like, no, there's no such thing as a no wall.
We got to get.
That's
an
where we
update
came
on
up with terms like no wall. Not all women. All he's saying is not all women are like that, and then it caught on.
Yeah, we got to get update. Or Harper is going to come in and say hi, guys.
Hi guys. Yeah. What's his name came around yesterday? He says he's not a mgtow no more, Bruno Berry, but I think mgtow kind of helped him guide him into a better situation in life.
Yeah. Hey, it's his choice, and
he could be whatever he wants in life. He doesn't have to take on a moniker of mgtow like that's your name.
Exactly. I wish him the best. Yeah, but boy, I tell you, we got a lot of people that come back and with the hi guys.
Yeah, hi guys. We're gonna have a lot of hi guys, and I'm waiting. I'll probably, I don't know if I'm gonna get to see all the hi guy movement where all the guys come back and like, yeah, you were right. That down the wall turned into an walt, and they're all that way, and they all have a gun, and now I have to pay child support. We've seen that with what's the two prominent PUAs that pay child support now?
Neil Strauss.
Yeah, I'm not sure that the other guy, whether he's divorced or whether
Mystery or was the guy named Mystery or something?
Yeah, and they're both paying child support, and they're both like, they're going to be like the leading high guys, and I try to tell you that, man, I just got right back on that horse and I doubled up on my job. Well, they can't do what they used to do, write books and tell you that, because they're working two jobs now. And it's impossible to write when you're working two jobs. It's almost impossible to write when you're working one job.
Well, don't they screw you too? If let's say you're making $100,000 a year and you get divorced, don't they expect you to maintain that income?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane.
Yeah, the government takes a third of that through taxation and everything.
Yeah, so but now let's say you're like 30 years old and you make $100,000 and then you get divorced. Now when you're 40, you're making $50,000. Like what? Did they make an adjustment on your child support or no?
No, you can get an adjustment, but it'll usually be too late, and then you're in arrears. And getting you in arrears is what they want, because every man that's in arrears, the federal government gives money to the administration, and that's how they make their money, and then they can give themselves raises. Instead of the program that we're supposed to have of altruism, where you pay a 30-year pay to the government, and then they take care of the baby mamas.
Yeah, and that's the concept men don't seem to understand, is you're not just marrying your wife, you're marrying the state, and you're
marrying the state, and then you're giving them permission to double tax you.
Right, the double tax. Yeah, that's terrible. All for this fake.
Right, and they won't even they triple tax you, as a matter of fact, because they don't take out for taxes. They say you're making $100,000. This is what you're going to give her tax free, and you go, no, I lose 30% right away to taxation, which I'm already paying you to do this.
Yeah,
if she wants to leave, that's fine. It's her babies.
Oh, what a bad deal! Holy shit!
And then and that takes a little more of a cut. It's such a bad deal for men, and they don't see these things. They don't see the anti-logic in that. You've already paid for her. The only reason that she can't just leave and go get an apartment by the government and have the parentage of the government is that they steal it. That's what I talk about all the time.
Yeah.
It's like they start these big administrations, and they need buildings, they need this, they need to pay themselves, they need their Mercedes Benz and everything. The tax lady, when she pulled up that day, she pulled up in a Mercedes Benz.
She did, that lady, years ago?
Yeah, then she told me she had to make sure that I wasn't living good enough.
And she's driving a Mercedes, huh?
She was driving a Mercedes Benz. It started me clicking. It started she gets to drive a Mercedes Benz. You guys just charged me $21,000 for something that wasn't my fault. And you never looked into it. She gets to drive a Mercedes Benz. And there's something self-serving about these organizations.
Of course, yeah. And that's how you got to view women as agents, like Black Pill.
They're agents of this bigger.
Black Pill said it right. Black Pill said it right. There's a great channel right there. I'll tell you right now. I haven't been listening to him lately, and I should, because he just tells it like it is. He doesn't give a shit, and he just tells you the truth. And I think he's the one. Well, he's the one that got that probably from. Did he get it from the Matrix? I don't know, but he got it.
When you think about it, they're like Agent Smiths. They come back and they're going to duplicate. They're going to screw up everything in your life, and that gives the government the power to come back in and start double taxing you. And it's all based on shame methods. It's like, if you don't do this, you're a bad male,
right?
And they'll start doing shitty little things like pulling your civil service and they have control over certain things. You won't be able to get loans. You won't be able to get your credit's going to be destroyed. You won't be able to get the loans you need. They're going to take your driver's license. So they make it so hard for you to get out of that trap.
Yeah, and
because what they want is a slave for life. They don't. Yeah. If the kid's like 12 years old, they don't want a slave for 6 years until he turns 6. They want a slave after that too. That's my predicament now. They want you to be a slave until eternity to them.
Yeah, that's why you got to get your exit plan. All men need to have an exit plan. You need to have
right, and
some type of exit plan.
Finding your autonomy, and
I wouldn't say get a fake ID, but I would say get a fake ID. If you know what I mean? I would say get one, but I'd say don't get one.
Yeah,
for the sake of this podcast, I would say don't get it, but wink, wink. Maybe you wanna consider it.
You might want to have not a fake government ID, because it's impossible to get a fake government ID. I've tried. Change my identity.
You need something. If you need it.
Yeah, if you need, if you're one of those guys that are, still active, you might.
And then you got a lot of options too. You got to always consider the world is pretty big, so you got a lot of options, and
right.
If you're, so you have, whatever, South America. I think it's, warm weather. It's probably the culture is more similar to the United States.
Right. Yeah.
Or wherever. Just go to a place where you can just kind of get away, and you can find it. You got to be creative. You got to really tap into your creativity.
Yeah. In my case, they spiked my health too, and on the way out, so there was not a lot I can do. I was just stuck. I couldn't be a world traveler with too ripped with my tendons peeling because of the overcalciumization of being poisoned. There was nothing I can do. I just had to try to fix myself, and that's where mgtow comes in too. We'll help you get back to being at least a normal thinking person. If that kind of tragedy happens to you, and there's a big possibility that kind of tragedy will happen.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I hurt my back last year, so I'm in my late 40s. I never had any health issues, and I recovered, but it took me probably, I don't know, a couple months. But I have some swelling in my foot, but it doesn't. I can walk still, and I'm okay. But the thing is that when you get older, yeah, you're right. There's something that could happen, that's going to disable you from being able to work.
The program is half cognitive therapy for rebuilding
Yeah.
men. And it's not nothing about doing masculinity. It's about, man,
Right.
these guys come in damaged. They've been working for the last 20 years like
You got
dogs.
nothing to show for it, and you got nothing to show for it.
Show for it. They're beat up.
Uh,
They're hurt. Sometimes they had industrial poisoning. Sometimes the woman, poisoned them. Sometimes, just the mental stress. They snapped, and
yeah.
we're here for that.
I snapped on Airbnb the other day, and I had to call them 3 times to apologize because I was under, I haven't worked in a
Extreme
year.
stress. Yeah, that extreme stress.
Yeah, it was like a $400 charge that I didn't feel like I should have got, and they ended up refunding me. But it's like they weren't even listening to me, and I kind of snapped, and I was like, I caught myself just.
Yeah,
But I really wasn't acting crazy. I was just, they weren't listening to a word I was saying, and
right.
it's just that the stress got to me with the corporate shenanigans that I've gone through over 20 years in corporate world. How I have more experience now in my late 40s than I ever have, and I get turned down for a lot of jobs that I have qualifications. I get, what I mean? It's like a culture. What do you call it? Society. Society just discarding me as I get as I get close to 50. I'm like being discarded, and
work
it's
out
ridiculous.
for the male too. You got to do a post 40 anti-ageism and stuff.
Right.
And it gets rough on you, and you're going to be
Right. That's why going to nature is important for me. But the thing is, I caught myself, like, I had to analyze myself. Why was I getting upset? And it really came down to that. It came down to the lack of respect that I get, for when I apply for jobs, like whether it's through an interview, getting disrespected on an interview, or whatever.
Yeah, that's a certain portion of the society that has changed. As we used to respect our elderly men because of their knowledge, experience. Right. Now we don't respect them anymore, and they're disposable. The disposable male is so prevalent in our society. If you don't have physical strength, youth, and something to be used, they don't care, and that's hard to get used to too. We used to move up, and there's nowhere to move up to anymore. I mean, unless you have a family, then you get the opportunities to move up into those positions because you have to be married to get higher positions, political positions. You have to be married. That's where the Illuminati sort of thing of the corporate world. If you're not married, then you're going to be overlooked on a job.
Yeah, it's true. I mean,
so
you got to make adjustments. You got to just make adjustments in life, and and that's just the way it goes. It's unfortunate. That's kind of that was my red pill, realizing we're not in a meritocracy. And
no, we're not in a meritocracy.
No, it's no,
doesn't mean nothing because
they're
pumping out. They're pumping out through business courses and stuff like that, and sales courses. They're pumping out the standard version of salesmen, and they're pumping out millions and millions of them.
Right. But I maintain a positive outlook because I'm in mgtow, and no one's gonna fool me. You're not gonna jerk my chain, so to speak. It's not gonna happen.
You have to be like on top of your game. You got to be ready for those things that are gonna come.
Yeah, and if I'm disrespected in a job interview process, I'm just done. I don't even respond to them. I don't return their call.
Don't let that include that. Don't let that bring extra stress to your life.
Yeah. Because eventually you just keep applying. Eventually you'll find someone that appreciates you. That there is, because you only need one job. That's why I always say it to myself. You just need one job. So you don't need to get every single job. Just get one that can get you covered until you find something that you really like later, maybe.
Yeah.
Just try to get some type of income. I think it's good for men to have some type of income every week. Just get, even if it's $50, whatever, just something to kind of boost your, that's why I ended up substitute teaching.
Yeah, you have to be the traversable male. You have to be the guy that can traverse from this to this easily,
right?
And over to this, and that's why my name's traversable, because you don't know what's on the other side. You just have to have that skill to be able to do that.
Right, you got to be able to maneuver and.
Right, that's what I call tack and tack often. You're trying to catch up, and the only way to catch up sailing is to tack and tack often. You're trying to catch a quarry.
Yeah, get into your flow kind of thing.
Yeah, you get into your flow, and you just start doing that, and it's hard work.
Right. Right. Right.
You're
You got to be
catching
aggressive and assertive, and yeah, definitely.
assertive, and don't tell anybody to lose your ego. The biggest thing I was disappointed with, lose your ego. No, you want that ego to be as big as possible and punch holes through things.
Right, and get out in nature, like you said. Get out in nature if you have to. That's really important.
Ease that stress, be able to focus, and
Well, and
get the
that's what I
hunt.
did with Airbnb. I went kind of ape shit on them. Like
Yeah,
I went really crazy on them about what they were doing with my this place I was staying at. But I apologize because I was kind of a little bit maybe overly aggressive with them. But
yeah, you should be able to see where your
I felt
faults
I
are.
was right. I felt I was right, and I was. They wouldn't give me my money back if I wasn't right.
Yeah,
I just felt they were dragging their feet. They were dragging their feet a little bit.
they wanted to see if you're going to give up first.
Right. They wanted to see if I was going to give up, but
there's a reason that
I didn't.
when you call in for they put you on hold. They want to
Yeah,
see
that's right.
if you give up.
That's true. That's true, isn't it?
Every sales program does that. They put you on hold to see if it's that important to you.
Yeah. But yeah, I like what you said there about just having that maneuver, but being able to maneuver in that situation.
Yeah, you got to maneuver, and you're gonna have to come at it from different angles. You're gonna have to do a lot of things, and you're being a traversable male.
Yeah, but that's true about the ego too. You have to like this whole that's another game that they play on this humility thing. That the Christians play on this, having this humility, and you would seem at first that it's a good thing. But when you really dig into it, there's a difference between like being humble and being respectful, right? It's always good to be respectful to people, but when you start getting into too much humility, that's almost like you're a doormat in a lot of ways.
Yeah, when you start looking at the philosophy of respect, there's a basic amount of respect people in the world deserve. It's a basic amount of respect. The upper respect that women talk about and everything, you have to earn that.
Yeah. No, I hear you. It's good to have a confident. Always have confidence, and that's why I always ended up with good jobs. I mean, I never took no for an answer. I just go in there, and I get turned down for job after job after job, and then eventually I hit the 6-figure job. Eventually I hit it, and I'll hit it again. It's just gonna maybe take just you got to be patient with it because it takes time.
Yeah, especially this environment. The environment, so we're in a flux right now because of COVID, and
yeah, that's right. Especially in California, because I really wanted to get back to California, but it was just such a mess over there with the masks and the whole state. It's like it's probably the best weather in the states, but the people there are so at least in Southern California, they're very they're a little off centered. They're a little bit in la la land. Talk about fantasy fictional world that they live in. That's what they live in.
For winter, if you want to snowbird it, you get to go to Las Vegas and it's like that's the weather. It's still,
I got it. Yeah, I got a good situation. I mean, because I got that house out there. It's a beautiful house. I showed you pictures of. You saw the house, right? You see it? Or?
No, I don't think I looked at it. Yeah,
I thought I sent it to your Hangouts.
Yeah,
but it's a good house. I held on to it because it went down in value by a lot when I first bought it, and it was kind of annoying. But
the housing market.
But I'm glad I kept it. I think it's good to have a property, just something, because you never know what situations come up in life where I need a place to stay.
Right. Yeah.
And,
I wish I had 2 houses. I could get out of this, but it is what it is for me.
Yeah, well, it's nice now though. Where you're at now. Yeah, I was actually in what's Cuyahoga County? Where's Cuyahoga County? Is that Cleveland? Is that Cleveland? Or, I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm in the next county over.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this lady was telling me Cuyahoga County has the best biking, like in the country or something.
Oh yeah, they do. They have terrific bike trails. You can you got I'm not sure. I showed you the one where it was 68 miles. But they're putting in little segments to hook them all together. And I'm hoping they hook this trail that we have here into it. But if we can hook into that, then I can trail bike right. And they're trying to do that because they have the national trail from the old train lines, and that starts right out here a little ways down. We were looking at it this morning, where they just where the old rail was. They just put in bike trails, and you can go all the way to St. Louis or wherever across America. And there's you can look at the bike trails on Google, and it'll show you. It gets up to Cleveland and it starts going like that. But we have really did a great job. You can go from the lake down to Akron if you wanted to, and around. You have really good bike trails up that way too. You have one of the
Oh
best.
yeah, Syracuse. Yeah, Green Lakes.
Right down that trail. What do they call that?
Yeah, Erie Canal. Well, the Erie Canal.
Yeah, the Erie Canal Trail and that.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, we have the Erie Canal up here
Yeah.
too, and they've tapped into those trails next to the canal up to.
Yeah.
You can almost go to the lake, and that's where the shipping would pick up in the canal, and then it would start going down. So we tap into the Erie Canal too, and you got a lot of history there too. There's a few, that's a really great trail to do. You start in Cleveland, go down the Erie Canal. You can stop at the museum, stop at see the sites, and
the FBI.
They'll show you how the canal works and the locks, and that's a great little bike trip.
Do you hear that buzzing? Buzz noise?
Yeah.
I don't know who's calling me.
Okay. Okay.
That's right. It's gonna stop any minute.
Yeah. Well, you want to wrap this up here, and we.
Yeah. Sure.
And, I got some stuff to do, and it's still nice. I want to get out and do a real ride today, and get some air in me and soak in some sunlight and try to feel good about life. And,
definitely. No, it's definitely a lot to be thankful for.
Stuck inside of
Yeah.
Well, okay. With that, and I want to thank everybody for showing up, and like always. Most of all, I want to say, thanks for being MGTOWs, especially on the holidays where men need, other MGTOWs, and it may be a little more stressful for some of those guys that the, ex-married men, the ex machina. Rick Sanchez the other day said, "I'm an ex machina this shit." Yeah. So you gotta, just thanks for coming around most of the time, man, and just thanks for being MGTOW.